Don't ever trade your soul. Don't even listen to him. He don't know nothing at all. Try not to get too involved, but really it's breaking my heart. How you keep changing for him. Never forget who you are.
Hey guys, I hope you guys are good. I am well. I'm currently at the men's conference for mental health. Let me just show you what it is. Let me just show you guys what it is. This is what it is. I don't know if you guys can see properly, but yeah, this is what it is. It's just a conversation about mental health and men and stuff like that. As you guys know that I am actually very, very passionate about mental health and stuff like that. So yeah, I'm just going to take you guys along with this in this vlog or whatever, short vlog, or I don't know. But yeah, men should not be ashamed of their mental health. It's okay to say I am not okay, or it's okay to say I need help or something in that line. So let me just take you guys through this conference also, so that you guys can see what I'm actually talking about. See you on the flip side.
So I was really happy when I was like, wow, we have speakers that are married and they're speaking about this subject matter. Probably some of us, the young people that don't have rings on, maybe we might get somewhere or something in this discussion. But not only that, is that they are bringing in their line of profession and also their knowledge. But that does not limit you and I from engaging. So as the discussion goes on and you'd like to contribute, feel free to contribute. Now, starting off with the program, would like them to also acknowledge the representatives from the ED's Office of Ministry of Health, which is Miss Kanji and Miss is it Martwan? Motwan, yes, Motwan, you know. Yes, present with us here, it says a lot when the Ministry of Health is present in such matters. And it shows that we as men, we matter, and the ministry itself is here, full force. Thank you very much for being in the presence and today. And also representatives from the National Mental Health present with us, and also the media houses, making sure that everything is captured, because there's a powerful saying that goes, if there are no pictures, then it never happened. Mm-hmm. So the first thing I'd like to challenge us is that I believe we all have smartphones. There is a free Wi-Fi, and the password is enjoy your stay. Mm-hmm. Capital E, capital Y, and then closely with stay. So it's here. We'll also ensure that we project it. So the reason I'm giving out the Wi-Fi password is so that we snap and share this content with our friends, family members. You know, just a small post can make a whole difference in someone's life. Thank you very much. So despite that, ladies and gentlemen, I'd therefore like to call upon a great man who will be representing a representative from NDTC just to welcome us. You know, they say there is nothing good without the powerful or the right welcome. And while I was outside, I was telling him that, you know what, his energy is like, you know, an expensive perfume. You don't need to look for it. You don't need to look for it, but already by presence, you know that this is the expensive perfume in the room. Ladies and gentlemen, the man I'm talking about is a senior executive in terms of operation at NDTC, which is Mr. Paulus Shitana. Please give a round of applause as he comes up. You see what I'm saying? Even his walk is that expensive. Let's give him a round of applause. Let's stop there.
Hey, morning everyone. I don't know what you mean by being like a very expensive perfume, but yeah, I'll take that. Thank you very much. Yeah, I would like to obviously first of all to stand on.
So I want us to approach the issue knowing that the constitution we're about to draw inspiration from is essentially it's called the Grundnorm, the Grondwet in Afrikaans. So it's the law that all laws are judged against. Now, you will also all agree that men play a special role in our societies, particularly in the context of family orientation, the social dynamics that they play. Article 14 of our Constitution states that every man and woman is entitled as a right to create their own families, to form their own families, and to lead them. Men, in the context of family, play a very special role in the sense that they need to provide leadership. And one cannot do that with a confused, for lack of a better word. My apologies, I'm not trying to offend anybody, but you cannot lead from a confused position. So when, and I'm speaking to the married men now, as well as some of us young ones who are yet to put rings on our fingers, when you are in that position, you need to know that you are doing it with the blessing of the Constitution, but you're also doing it knowing that you are required to provide leadership in your various relationships. Even if it's just an issue of you and your girlfriend, you need to provide leadership, and you need to have a clear mind as to what exactly you want to do. And that's why it's very important for us to have strong and formidable minds, resilient minds, such as how the previous speaker said. Then I move on to Article 6, which is the protection of life. The Constitution also then mentions that everybody has a right to life. The right to life is inalienable, and anyone who threatens another's right to life transgresses the provisions of the Constitution. Then I move on to Article 7, which is the right to liberty, which then also includes the right of freedom of movement, and the right to be able to engage openly and freely without any impediments. The most important one, alongside another that I'll get to shortly, is the right to dignity. The right to dignity is important because it
to help one another to use our strength for good. But the challenge is that when, I remember there was a time a man was in the village who went through some abuse. He went to the police station to seek, that's the first step to take, right? And when he reported this case, he was told to say, "I man, you're a vile man, you're a coward. How can you, report a woman?" But for me, this is a gentleman seeking for help. So in that sense, I feel, should we take this type of dialogues to police officers, whoever is involved, or like, because in that situation, then what now? Because the law is there for us, but at the ground it's not working for us.
What a powerful question. The law is for us, but at the ground level, I went to the police station, I was speaking, so someone was told me, speak like a man, very scared. There's a guy? Is there someone with a question? Okay. So I'll only take 3, so I think the two, you can decide who's going to take the last one.
Good morning, my name is Ricky Martin Hobosem. Mine is very simple. It has to do with the sexual assault and rape section of our constitution with regards to the law, right? We have instances, or we have in the constitution, if I'm not mistaken, I'm not no legal aspect, we have in the constitution whereby the law does not generally speak to the needs of men when they are sexually assaulted or when they are finding themselves in the confinements of sexual assault or rape holistically, right? We have instances whereby...
Good morning. I'm so happy to see so much men together and trying to heal their wounds and stuff like that. My question is actually paternity. You said that they are actually allowed to go to court in, yes. There was a situation whereby the paternity DNA situation is actually going to be placed at birth or something in that line. That's my first question. Is how far is that? And the second one is that how much is it for a man to actually go and have a DNA actually done? Because I hear it's very expensive actually. So yeah. The other question is that there's a woman and child unit. Where is the man's unit?
I like that question. Where is the men's unit? And DTC, please lead us to that end.
How can I know? Anyway, I'm just going to move on. I think my question is around within the legal space. There's so much stuff that is coming out now, or even as women that we're realizing now, where men have either not been considered, or the way the law is applied seems to be a little bit discriminate in favor of women more so than men, kind of to what the lady was asking now, where's the men's unit? But I really wonder, even from the legal fraternity, if I as a woman have a legal challenge, I have an overwhelming amount of resources that I can go to, places that I can go to that are fashioned to help me as a woman. But does the legal fraternity really consider spaces where men can go and unpack some of these things or get the right level of support? Do we consider this type of learning even in our institutions, or incorporating it in our institutions so that we can sort of explore the unique challenges that men had and the support that they may need? It's probably not a question that you can answer, but I want to throw it to you nonetheless. We are sitting here and we're talking about the challenges that men have, but we have men that are in professions in every sphere. Do they actually provide services for their own?
Thank you very much. I think this is why I'm not a lawyer, so I'll go back and give it to you. And we trust you. Please do take notes in terms of the answers, just in case.
Thank you very much for the questions. Very good questions.
Good morning. It's been a long time since I've been in the presence of so many men. I like men. I always come up for men. I love you so much. My name is Helen Mato from the Ministry of Health and Social Services. Thank you so much for your presentation. Perhaps just also a few from our side. The units that we have as government, because different ministries work at the units. Ministry of Safety and Security, Ministry of Gender Equality and Child Welfare, as well as Gender Equality, Poverty Eradication and Social Welfare. Ministries has long names. So it's called the Gender-Based Violence Protection Units. It was way back, when it was Women and Child Protection Unit. It has changed for many years now. Specifically because there's a misconception about the word gender. People think that when you talk about gender-based violence, you talk about women. It's violence for everyone, and that is what the Combating of Domestic Violence Act is saying, and that is what the Combating of Rape Act is saying. And I think that our laws are quite progressive, thanks to you at the Attorney General's office. I take my hat off for you. And it's neutral. The problem is we as society, you and I, that how we raise our kids, how we raise ourselves, how we socialize ourselves, that we think men don't cry, men are stronger. And this is what we also say here. But is that always the case? I mean, if I stand against him, if he fights me, he will know where I was born. He will know. You see? So that is the gross generalizations that we have. We need to start at home and in our neighborhoods to change these things and to say our boys should cry. It's us mothers and fathers that raise our kids like that. That's why a boy or a man is ashamed to go to the police station and say, I've been assaulted, I've been raped. And it's the plea of my heart that we address this very balanced. I know there are cases where women, we take chances. But if you look at the cases that we receive at the units, it's sad where our country is going. And that includes men and women, girls and boys. And how are we going to address it? And I totally would like to emphasize what Attorney General's office was saying. We as men need to take our place, and use that strength and leadership that you were born with and apply it positively. That also comes to the issue of, I know we still struggle with rape can also have
personal point of view, and also personally me, myself, and also my kids. So I have two kids, fairly young still. I've gotten to realize that firstly, the very interesting things that you are taught from the very small age, if you continue consistently carrying through and adapting them to what you want the child to look like, I think that sticks with you as an individual, as a human being. So come to a stage where they, try to experiment. Obviously, everybody is trying to learn new things, society and so on. I think with each and every individual has their own way and approaches. But I think from my end, it's constant reminder of where the person comes from, in small little details and things that you do. I mean, certain things, for example, if I take a very simple example, you constantly tell your kids, wake up, make up your bed, go brush your teeth, wake up, go brush your teeth, eat something. The more you say it, it's almost like they wait for you to come tell them. But at times, I adapt that. So I would probably say, okay, wake up. If you don't make up your bed, next time you come around, you'll find your blankets on the floor. And if I still keep seeing your blankets on the floor, they will end up outside. So the first time around, obviously, they will come, the bed is not made up, then you go like, okay, fine. You have to be consistent with that. And what you say, you need to live up to your word. Because if you don't, then they're not going to take that serious. But over time, I've gotten to realize as well, now I get into the kids' room, their bed is made. They have brushed their teeth. So for me, it's a bit of consequence management, a bit of advice here. To be honest, there isn't a handbook for clear-cut parenthood. That's what I picked up and that's what I've realized. And for me, as growing up, I've gotten to realize that those small little details that the parents have actually taught me, they always pop up. Every time I want to do something, and then I realize when there's that conflict in your head, do I do this, do I do that? There's always a reference to, what would my parents think? Would this be the correct action to take? How would that impact my life? Because they always related it to, it's my life. but we want it to be the best for you, for yourself. Yeah.
Quite true. I like how you say that consistency in what we do. Yeah? So, dear fathers to be, and fathers without fathers, we should just be consistent, guys. I like how you bring it that. Just tell them, make your bed every single day, no matter how it becomes repetition. Even now I understand why I used to be scolded on certain things that I was like, I was really doing this.
From one of my pastoral mentors, who, great man, and his son, amazing dude, man, sings very well, also identifies as such. And I recall asking him one time, I'm thinking, you lead a theistic institution, and obviously there's a rule of law here that this ought not to happen. And I said to him, but how do you reconcile these two? You being a preacher, for example, and your son identifying as such. And one of the things he had said is, love in its finite, love in its truth, or at least, and I'm not talking about like aiding a delusion, that's different. There is such a thing as narcissistic empathy, okay? This idea that we support a delusion in the name of acceptance, but doesn't work this way. So you and I, the only thing we have in common is this: you are an image bearer, and so am I. I don't love you off of the grounds of what and who you identify as. I love you off of the fact that you are a human being. That's that. But actual love also comes with truth. I've learned over the years now, whatever happens as a consequence of telling somebody the truth, that is the best outcome. More damage is done both to young men and young women because we perpetuate a lie. Look, kids are very impressionable. For example, if my daughter, let's say she's 3, and she keeps coming to today she's a lion, tomorrow she's a tiger, other day she's a zebra. She's impressionable. This is just how she is. But because I'm constantly telling her, no, you're this, or at least we're identifying exactly what it is she is. If I aid this, it's not good for her. If I come to you today, for argument's sake, because we are making it practical, because it's real, right? And I say, my boss says to me, be at work at 8. I said, no, I identify as a 9 o'clocker. It's just what I am. It's like, no, there is a pragmatic approach to something. Here at work, we start at 8, regardless how you feel. We don't care if you're black, blue, brown, or yellow. It's 9 o'clock. And so these things are important. One of the reasons why we're afraid to touch this issue, we are afraid to hurt feelings. Let me tell you, facts don't care for feelings at all. Facts have never cared for feelings. I feel as though I'm a billionaire, but if I go to G-Wagon now, I can't just get one, although I feel like I want to have one. It's just how it works. I'm not making light of the situation. I'm also saying that there are actual implications, there are actual reasons why people behave the way they do, why they identify this way. One of the things that has been a privilege for me being in the media for 10 years, most of the guys that I work with in the fashion industry, for example, they identify as gay. I've had the privilege to speak to some of these guys. I've found a core issue. Many of these guys, when we have real conversations, they will tell you there was further abandonment issues. And so it stemmed from somewhere. And so for me, is to identify the core, because people don't just wake up identifying as something. People have got a frame of reference. I identify as such because it came from here, A, B, and C. This is just a symptom. Because people keep changing identities too, but I'm saying, what was the core before you became this? Therefore, let's deal with that issue. I will love you. I will support you in truth, and I will support you in love. But I will not aid a delusion. It's not healthy for you. It's not healthy for anybody. And my last point is this. We have seen, without any shortage, people that maybe, transitioned, and they had surgery done on them. If you see the outcomes now, the negative impact, but these are the stories we can't see because that's not the agenda. For every dispensation in our life, in human life, there's always an agenda. There's always an agenda. And so I'm saying, yes, I'm going to support you because this is where you are in your face, but I will not leave you there. We'll deal with the core. This thing that you're identifying with me now, or the thing that you're talking about, it might be caused by something. I love you enough to go back and deal with the core. And then we'll come find you here. And even if you want to continue this way, I will love you regardless because you are an image bearer. But I will not aid a delusion.
Thank you very much. Mr. Susi, the question that I have, that was very profound. And the fact that you went...
Come to love a God whom they have never seen. If the Father who made me has run away from my mother. A lot of young men today are broken because they don't even know whom their fathers are, and that is the intention of the devil. Remove the father out of the equation and people will no longer be able to actually know what it means to know the love of God. And then it goes even further. When you take a look at households within which there are no fathers, there are no men, women will do their best job to try and raise those young boys. But the fact of the matter is that only a man can teach a boy what it means to really be a man. In the same way that only a woman, a mother, can teach a young girl what it really means to be a woman. Now, as men, there are generally 3 areas in which the enemy is going to try and attack us. But before I get those areas, what are your roles as a father or as a potential father to be? You are supposed to be a priest to your household. You are supposed to be a protector, and you are supposed to be a provider. One of the number one reasons that many of us suffer with mental health is due to that last one, the being a provider. I don't have money, I'm broke, it's true. And as men, you guys will confirm this. The moment you have money in your pocket, there's just something different about the way that you talk, the way that you stand. Yes, all men know this. And it is linked to our godly purpose because God put us on earth to have dominion over the earth. And as a man, if you don't have dominion over your own self, including your own finances, what does it mean? You cannot even look after yourself. This is one of the biggest areas where men start struggling when it comes to mental health. Now, what areas is the enemy going to attack you as a man? 3 main areas. Women. Guys are silent. Yes, women, family and friends, and number 3, you just look at my notes here. Yes, it's going to be your finances. The biggest mistake that you can make in your life as a man is getting married to the wrong woman. Or being in a relationship with the wrong lady. That is the number one thing that the enemy is going to use to throw you off track. And the reason why he will attack you through the woman who's supposed to be your rib is because when a man loves a woman, his entire happiness, his entire peace of mind is linked and intrinsically tied to that woman. A woman's supernatural power is that of influence. That's the power that women have over us. So as men today, the first place I will tell you is start by making sure that the relationship that you are in is with somebody who helps to fulfill your purpose as a man. If you don't see how she helps you fulfill your purpose and vice versa, you need to get out of that relationship. The previous speaker was talking about how, we're all protected by the law. And to this day, I have spent over 130,000 Namibian dollars in legal fees trying to fight to get access to my daughter. Be very, very, very careful about the women that you choose. And this is the other thing. A lot of us men want to be players, right? We want to sleep around. We do things that are damaging and breaking down our society. The enemy knows and realizes that if he can keep you in an unhappy state of mind, There's nothing that you're going to be able to do to dig yourself out of a hole. And this is why men go through depression. There was a study that was conducted in 2005 by 3 researchers, and they were looking at this issue of happiness and how it ties and relates to our performance. And what they realized is that a human being that is happy, just simply happy, you know, I'm at peace, becomes 3 times more creative, 40% more likely to get a job or to get a promotion. So it's obvious that the enemy will do everything that he can in his power to try and keep you in that depressed state of mind. Now, in trying to wrap up, I just want to remind you guys that nobody is coming to save us, unfortunately. It's true. Nobody's coming to save us. And I would even go so far as to say that there is actually an agenda out there to target and to keep men down. One of the other jobs that I do is I'm also a photographer and a videographer, like these ladies and gentlemen right here. About 2 months ago, I attended a conference. I was there taking photos. Businesswomen were invited. The funding came from overseas. And just being the photographer in the room, I learned so much. And I went to organize and I said, but wow, guys, why is it that we only have women here? I mean, where are, you know, my fellow brothers? They will also benefit from this knowledge. This is the kind of thing that will help people build strong businesses in Namibia. And then the organizer said to me, my brother, the people who funded this thing made it very clear that men are not allowed to attend. It is for women only. Yeah. It's a fact. If I hadn't been there as a photographer, I wouldn't have gained this information. So nobody is coming to save us. The number one thing that you can do to try and help and improve your state of mental health is to begin by discovering your purpose. As Miles Monroe has already alluded to, if you don't know what the purpose or what your purpose is, you are inevitably and simply going to abuse or misuse yourself. So, for me as a Christian, I can only speak from a Christian point of view. God is my source, and I look to Him to find my purpose. And my challenge to you today is the following. I want to encourage you to write down your very own personal mission statement. The rules that are going to help guide the type of life that you want to live. And when you write this mission statement, you need to focus on 4 areas. Number 1, what type of finances do you want to have? How financially well off do you want to be? You need to write this down. Put down that figure and imagine that you have a magic wand. How much money are you earning every month? How much money is in the bank account? Put it down. The second area that you need to focus on is your relationships to other people. What do you want those relationships to look like? What kind of friendships do you want to have within your friendship circle? Number 3, what do you want your health to be like or to look like? Right? What do you want your health to look like? And the 4th and final area is your spiritual life. What do you want that to look like? Now, the reason why you need to write these down is fairly simple, if I'll explain from a Christian point of view. When God created man, we are the only creatures, the only beings in all of creation where God spoke to Himself. When God created men and women, He said, therefore let us create man in our own likeness and our own image. When you look at how God created the universe, God created by speaking. When He wanted fish, He spoke to the water.
pillar is a man. So, judging by today's conversation, by today's talk, me personally, I write poetry. It's my escape. I love writing poetry. It's what I do, basically. So, listening to Franklin talk, it just motivated me to actually come up here and say what I had to say. So, yeah. It's under the name When I Became a Man. When I became a man, I put away with childish things. But before I became a man, I didn't always feel the shoes of a king. I was so lost and alone, listening to the world that said you can do it on your own. Jesus was an afterthought, this world was my home. Bumping Marshall mentors in my car like, yeah, I'm grown. Forgetting to put God first, I was the Lord of my own throne. And searching for satisfaction is all that I had known. But before I became a man, I was just another middle-class clown. But when I became a man, I stopped wasting my life, hoping and wishing that a better life would just show up. I started listening to my mom who for so long said, son, you need to grow up. So I grew up, and the thought of an average life made me want to throw up. So I threw up. Yeah, I threw up my hands and said, God, I'm tired of being a boy, I'm ready to become a man. Because one day when my son takes my hand, I want him to know that it's not about what his dad said, it's about where his dad stands. I want him to know that I serve the God who inspires us to have bigger dreams and bigger plans. I want him to know that, son, if God is for you, then the naysayers of this world do not stand a chance against you. Because there's a difference between being a boy and being a man. When I became a man, I was ridiculed and laughed at. Whispers behind my back like, is he really like that? He must be uneducated. He was put down and degraded. Friendships lost and relationships faded. Only because I chose to live for the life for which I've been created. It's funny how when you mention Jesus, you're suddenly hated and laughed at. It's funny because these are the same people who come back years around later when they saw me in the paper doing things that my life has been created. Yeah, we can talk. Because I'm still here and I'm still going to tell you about Jesus even though it's not what you want to hear. But I'm guessing that you already knew that because you used to make fun of me for if misunderstood. So let's talk about life, and I'll tell you about your need for Christ. And when you want to keep our conversation secret, your text about wanting to know more about Jesus, don't worry, no one will see it, but I hope one day you'll see fit to step out of the pit that you've been trapped in, to run to Jesus and take his hand and find a life that filled with purpose and passion. And so the jokes that you cracked when I took a stand, don't worry, it's not always easy when you leave the boys to become a man. Thank you.
Thank you very much for that poem. Now we move.
Every day I made a decision that any man that I find along that road, I'll speak to him. I'll tell him that how I got saved, how I came from the world of alcohol, how I was able to say no to sex for more than 7 years. That it's possible. That you can say no to alcohol in one day. That you can detach yourself from all these chains in one day.